If you're spending your money on marketing before fixing these 7 bottlenecks, you might just be wasting your money on ads. Build a criteria of cases so that not every single case has to be run by you in order to accept them. Create a decision tree. What cases do you want? What cases do you not want? Build a criteria for the cases that your firm wants to sign up. For example, not taking specific insurance companies, looking for liability, only taking cases in which the person is injured, etc., etc. The point is to take yourself out of that process to make everything smoother. The important part is to train your intake team so that when they come to you, they don't have 20 different questions to ask you. Can we take this case? Can we take that other one? No. They should know by the time they get to you. You should only be touching the weird cases, the one where it's not black and white, it's not really sure if it's a case that you want. But the point is to make it so the process runs itself and they're not reliant on you to be present for the system to function. Number 2, no follow-up systems. Harvard Business ran the numbers and this is what they found. If the lead wasn't called back within 5 minutes, they were 10 times more likely to lose that case. If the lead was followed up within 5 minutes of it coming in, they were 10 times more likely to sign them up. You wait 24 hours and you're 60 times more likely to lose it. Here's another interesting statistic that they found. 90% of closes occurred after the 6th contact. Most firms stop after the first one or the second one. Take advantage of this and follow up consistently. At least 6 times. Follow up across email, text message, and whatever other avenue you have available to you, because that person maybe doesn't have service. Maybe they're missing out on something due to work. So the ideal situation is that you follow up across all these channels, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. People have lives, they're busy, so if they're not available right away, then it's probably for a good reason. I would recommend doing this for 4 days and then closing it out if they don't respond. Marketing is only part of it, but if your intake department isn't working as intended, then it won't matter how much you advertise. You have to take care of one problem to begin looking for a different solution. Number 3, you only have one lead source. I know you love maybe Google Ads because they're really high intent, but the issue is that they're very expensive. Unless you're one of these top law firms that has a budget that can outbid the rest of the competition, you more than likely want to go with something that's going to be more affordable and more efficient for your budget. So what you can do is go through different channels. So issue number 3, people rely on only one channel for their leads. That's not what the game is about. The game is to diversify where you get your leads from to make them as money efficient as can be. So I'm going to go over them really quick. You have organic content. So reaction from attorneys in which they give their reactions to specific incidents that have been occurring. Basically, you're targeting things that are really relevant at the moment. So for example, a Supreme Court ruling, viral accident where people aren't sure who's at fault, things that are relatable to an audience, because that's what they respond to. The ads that perform the best aren't the ones that talk about your law firm and what your law firm has done or your accomplishments, but something that's relatable to your audience. Number 2, you have paid outreach. Again, what we covered earlier. So you have Google ads, you have Instagram ads, and these can be effective, but it's important to also build other things to have a better return, because if you're paying for every lead that comes in, that's more money that you have to spend off the bat. Organic outreach, and the benefits of that is that they allow you to build an audience and they allow you to monetize that audience without having to spend all this money for it. With paid outreach, you can do multiple things, but in general, it's a good source, but you don't want to rely on solely that one. Number 3, word of mouth. So if you give good referrals, if you give good service to the clients that you're representing, then they're going to recommend other people to your firm. And that's something really powerful, because you can generate money just by giving a good service, just by having them leave a review. And that's less friction for somebody to sign up with your firm, because if you've had a friend that had a good experience and they got a settlement out of something, more than likely they're going to want to also get that same result. And what's more reliable than hearing from a family member that your firm did wonders for them? Number 4, community outreach. It's sponsoring events, going to local food drives, getting your firm and your brand out there. By allowing your firm to be part of these community events, you've built rapport with future clients, people that may not need you in the moment, but if they need you in the future, they may think to themselves and say, they helped me with the food drive. They provided me with a much needed help back in the day. And that's going to generate goodwill towards your brands, something that's going to help you in the future to get more clients, because it's about building that goodwill towards your brand. All right, enough about the outreach. Number 4, you're collecting all the case information yourself. By the time that case gets to your desk, you should have the majority of the information that you need. If you're still calling the clients to get the basic info, you're becoming the bottleneck, and that slows down the pipeline. That's what you want to avoid. Train your intake staff. Tell them what they need to gather, what they need to look for, the red flags that they should be looking out for, so that they can sign up a case and they can get them on board as soon as it comes in. You don't want to be calling back a client 20 times because you need an extra piece of information. Have them verify if they've had a previous attorney, because you run into the issue of possible cases which have been discharged. And if you signed up a case that's discharged, then it bogs down the whole process. You later have to discharge that case, and it's better to just get all the information right off the bat. Not only that, if you sign up a client that has already had an attorney, you took on their case, and then you discharge it because you weren't able to do anything, they may even leave you a bad review, which is not ideal. You want to get through that as soon as it comes in. Get all those important details, and it's important that you train your intake department to do so. All right, number 6, in-person signups. So ideally, if you're able to sign up clients through online or through the phone, through things like DocuSign, it will save you a lot of time if you're able to qualify that lead over the phone instead of having them come in person, tell you their story, waste an hour, and then all of a sudden you're not able to even help them. Save yourself that time by qualifying the lead over the phone. Ask them what occurred, what are the events, and if it's something that qualifies and meets your firm's criteria, then sign it up. But don't waste their time. Number 5, you're coordinating the treatment yourself. What you want to do, again, is to delegate these processes. Have a list of the people that you work with that are closest to the client so that they're able to just sign them up, find the clinic near where they live, they have their availability already, ideally on that book, and then as soon as that client is signed up, they're ready to get scheduled. You're going to schedule them, you're going to get them set up, and that way you don't have to do it yourself. Have your intake team actually do it, so that by the time it gets to your desk, all that you need to do is ask for the medical bills, the medical records, so that you can move the case process along. The less friction that your client has, the more likely you are to get a good review from them, and the better experience they're set to have. All right, so a quick recap, let's cover them. Create criteria. Stop reviewing every case yourself. You don't need to review everything. You need to make sure that you're only reviewing the cases that are not black and white, that is not sure who's at fault. By doing that, you can avoid having to do everything yourself, and you can focus on what's getting you more money, which is settling cases. Number 2, build a follow-up system. So again, if you're not following up with those leads, it doesn't matter how much marketing you're doing. You're gonna lose out on those leads. Number 3, stop relying on a single source. If you're only relying on one source, you're cutting yourself short. You have things like clinics that you can build relationships with. You have organic outreach where you're providing value to an audience and then you're able to monetize that audience. You have paid outreach where you're able to pay to reach a specific target of people, but that can be very expensive, so that's why you don't want to just use that one. Number 4, community outreach. You're going to local events, you're going and helping your local community, and that builds goodwill for your brand, which is what ultimately will get you clients. Next in line is you're gathering all the info when your intake team should be. So delegate that to your intake department, have them follow up with the leads, have them gather all the information so that you don't have to do all of this yourself. And that frees up a lot of your time to get more money for the cases that you already have. Number 5, delegate the treatment coordination. So have a book of the clinics that you work with near the area where your most common clients are at. That way, your intake department can just get them as soon as they sign up. Get them in contact with that clinic, get them scheduled so that they can get the treatment and you don't run into any issues. That way, it can be assigned right away and you avoid the hassle. Your client's also going to thank you for it because they're not feeling well and you're helping them with that. Number 6, using DocuSign. Again, if you can sign them over the phone, it's a lot more efficient, it's a lot faster because you're able to get all those documentations that you need as soon as it comes in. You're able to also qualify the case and you're able to see if it's a case that you even want. Instead of having them come in, having to set aside an hour, where if you just ask them over the phone, you sign them up and you're good to go. And last but not least, number 7, separate your intake department from the assigning of cases. Because if you're having your closers, the people that are making your money by signing up cases, have to also assign the cases that they signed, then it's going to take them away from what's making you the most money, which is signing cases. You want them signing cases, you don't want them doing administrative work, or at least reduce that to the least amount possible. So if you're doing all these 7 things, you're in the right track. I'm going to be covering more of this in the future. And if you're interested in my other content, please click on the link below and you'll be able to get a better idea on what to do in order to optimize your law firm processes. If you like the content, leave me a like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.